कुछ बोला नहीं।
Hi, good morning and welcome to the trade setup right here on Bloomberg Queen. We are a couple of minutes late, just trying out the new software, so excuse us for that. But I think the optimism is out there and hope is out there for the day today. So let's wait and watch how it shapes up. First, a few positive news bits around the world. Lots of them I've chosen the two or three most important ones. So obviously, a Moderna event is the most important one. Moderna has reported positive data on early stage coronavirus vaccine trial, and that led to the US markets doing very, very well for themselves. And of course, Moderna as a stock doing very well for itself as well in the session yesterday. So that is something that all of us have to watch out for. And there is hope, of course, that this lasts. Keep in mind that this is not the end of it. As I understand, next would be multi-centric phase 3 clinical trials. It's a big firewall to jump. And if the data shows well, then approval may be expedited on fast track. So that is something you need to watch out for. European regulators have lifted the short selling ban, citing less volatile markets. So market regulators also believe that things are turning back to normalcy. And Chinese oil demand is almost back to pre-virus crisis level. This is an article on Bloomberg wherein they've taken source-based information from some agencies in China and some users in China. But well, this could be, that is very, very interesting. And maybe that plus a couple of other factors led to crude oil doing very well for itself. I mean, if you just look at the crude GIP in the last few days, you will see what I'm talking about. By GIP, I mean a chart that we use on the Bloomberg terminal. And this shows you how crude is back to about $30 a barrel and going strong. It's important to monitor that, right? It's not just a flash in the pan move. There has been a surge and a steady surge in the last few days in crude oil prices. So do watch out for anything related to oil, sensitives both on the upside and the downside. So that is something you need to monitor. Of course, all of this leading to the US markets having the best day in, I think, 3 weeks or thereabouts, or probably even higher than that. So excellent day for the US markets, just that the futures aren't quite predicting that. So unfortunately, the futures, as the line shows, are trading very, very flat. But Asia and the select Asian indices that I'm showing you right now, and the other markets too, are doing very well. So Hang Seng, Kospi, etc., are all trading with a fair degree of green, if you will. And some of the others too are doing reasonably okay for themselves. So the world markets are looking good. And the SGX Nifty, which yesterday was completely different from what the world markets were doing, is also trading positively. Keep that in mind. The SGX Nifty has a start which is about 197, 198 points. As I see, it's about 158 points, 8985, close to about 9,000 points is where the SGX Nifty is trading. So you have a positive start in store for our markets. Now, the key is the global surge could help the Indian market stage a comeback, as the SGX is indicating. To my mind, I think trading above the sheet anchor level of 9,000 is the key. We will go above that in all probability at the start. The point is, can we trade above that sheet anchor level of 9,000? That's the key thing. Because if we go above and then we come off as well, then it will indicate a start which is nervous. And mind you, Bank Nifty could actually do that, bring the markets down very, very quickly. Yesterday was the case in point as well. When we started off 0.5% or 0.4% lower, but very quickly the Bank Nifty succumbed to selling pressure and then went down almost 6%. So that remains that big overhang. I somehow believe that while the start may be positive, the Bank Nifty may play spoil spot during the latter half of trade. Okay, very quickly, what is lined up for today? What is it that you should watch out for? I mean, in terms of earnings, a lot of mid-cap names, but I think importantly and most importantly, Bajaj Finance numbers. He stopped talking to media of late, but I think the con call that he does post that, if Bajaj Finance does do that, I think people will be getting to hear what Rajiv Jain has to say. So do watch out for Bajaj Finance, the numbers and the commentary more importantly. The stocks to watch today on open, there are 3 or 4 that I do want to bring out for our viewers, and you should watch out for these. Bharti Airtel, strong stock, was weak yesterday, was down about 3% in trade yesterday, but the numbers are strong. Revenue is up 8%, EBITDA up 10.4%. EBITDA margins came in at about 43.5 or thereabouts versus expectations, which were lower. And ARPU, the average revenue per user, was the big beat. And I have a couple of lines out there. The ARPU was, headline ARPU reportage was 154 versus 149. But look at this. The QOQ growth of ARPU of 14% is much better than Jio's 1.7% quarter-on-quarter growth, and the net 4G subscriber addition is better than what the average quarterly net additions have been. So therefore, the pace of the 4G subscriber addition is much better for Bharti Airtel, and that should be a positive. And let's see if the stock reacts positively. Torrent Power, consolidated numbers, revenues up 2%, margins though very, very strong. So even though there's a net loss, I think the street could take heart from the margin performance of 27.72%. It's a sector that is starting to trend positively. I don't know if this disrupts it. Delta Corp could be an interesting one in the session today. It's not a stock that is too overowned now, but imagine if 7 days of a lockdown could do this to this counter, wherein the net profit was down about 48%, margins came off to 26%. What would April and May lockdowns do? So I think there is some pain in this one, so do watch out. Vedanta, unexpected times, the board approved the delisting proposal by promoter VRL. I think a lot of people were foolishly thinking of some bit of revision to the price, open offer price. I mean, it's an indicative price and it's a reverse book building process. So that was not going to happen. What will happen now, I'll tell you viewers very quickly, is that there is a reverse book building process that will happen. Shareholders and large shareholders will bid the price that they want Vedanta to pay for the delisting, and arguably the prices would be higher. So I think that's the process that will follow. It's a punt that you as a retail investor takes if you want to buy into Vedanta right now, hoping that people will subscribe to a higher price. And all probably that could well be the case because the embedded value of Hindustan Zinc is much higher. But this has gotten the approval. Could be very interesting next 2-3 months for Vedanta. So be mindful of this stock. Last but not the least, and arguably the more a very interesting name is AU Small Finance Bank. The reason I say this is interesting is government of Singapore has bought 19.7 lakh shares, which is 0.6% equity at 414 rupees per share. Yesterday, I spoke about how Sunil Bharti Mittal holding companies bought similar stake as well. Both cases, promoter is the seller. So promoter has sold a strategic small stake to both Sunil Bharti Mittal and government of Singapore, the single connection, if you will. Could be interesting to see what happens to AU Small Finance Bank over the medium term. So these are a few stocks that I would watch out for. Have a safe day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Okay, now we are doing Skype now.